What's happening, Manhwa champions? Don't forget to leave your feedback and smash that like button. Now let's dive into this epic tale. Picking up right where we left off, we see our protagonist, frozen, knees on the floor, eyes wide in shock. A talisman slaps onto his forehead, placed by none other than the treacherous shaman. The shaman narrows his gaze, thinking to himself, it was an evil spirit from the start, brimming with murderous intent. It was only a matter of time before it broke free. As he bends to pick up the broken wooden vessel, he adds with a cold smirk, "It's fortunate that the evil spirit transferred to him." He stands behind our protagonist, now kneeling and dazed, talisman still glowing on his forehead. Mission complete. The obstacle is gone. I'll pin the rest on this trivial pawn. Meanwhile, within the protagonist's mind, a grotesque mass of eyeballs swirling in purple goo snarls, "You dare deceive me with this puppet?" The evil spirit's voice echoes, vibrating with venom. "I won't forgive you." We see the spirit's gaze fixated on the image of our protagonist. He's young. Good. I'll take over your body and trap you in endless slumber. Suddenly, we are transported into our protagonist's mindscape, a peaceful mountain scene. His younger self walks through the woods, a basket on his back, a water pail in hand. Birds chirp, the sun glows, trees sway gently. This place, it's the watering hole I always visited, he thinks. I know this place. I could never forget it. He kneels to scoop water from the stream, calm and content, until something shifts. Something feels wrong. As he walks back through the woods, a strange unease creeps in. What am I forgetting? Suddenly, black smoke curls into the sky. His heart sinks. That's the direction of my house. Dropping the water, he runs. "Grandfather!" Panic floods his face as he sprints through the forest, grass whipping at his legs, breath ragged, sweat pouring. "Please, please, please." He bursts through the tree line and what he sees stops him cold. His home, engulfed in flames, black smoke rising, silence except for the crackle of fire. He throws off his basket. "Grandfather!" Again, louder. "Grandfather!" And there he is, lying on the ground, cut in half, lifeless. Our protagonist collapses to his knees, shaking, clutching the body in disbelief. "Wake up. Please. Who would do this?" He grips the man tighter. "You can't leave me," a solemn monologue begins. "Only now do I truly understand who my grandfather was to me, just how important he was." Images flash, memories of joy, of love, of quiet moments under the sun. Tears drip onto his grandfather's clothes. Then, a shadow looms behind him. The evil spirit. "Ah, so that's what you desire," it hisses. Now fully formed, a masked figure cloaked in black mist, oozing purple aura, it floats behind the boy, stretching out a long, smoky hand. "I'll give you your wish." Purple light drips from its fingers and seeps into the protagonist's ear. The light snakes around his face. His eyes start to glaze. And then, "Hey, what are you doing over there?" A voice breaks through the void. His grandfather, alive, standing in the distance, holding a dish. "You're not going to help this old man?" the protagonist gasps. "Grandfather." The figure smiles. "Snap out of it." The boy stares, confused, still kneeling, purple veins crawling up his arms. He trembles. "Just what's going on?" He looks up, caught between two worlds, two selves, two fates. His eyes widen as they lock onto his grandfather. That vein of purple mist curls directly into his pupils, turning them a deep, ominous blue. In an instant, he leaps up, grasping his grandfather tight. "Grandfather!" The old man stumbles, nearly dropping the plates of fresh-picked greens. "Whoa, hey, this old man's gonna fall over. What's gotten into you?" He laughs, trying to steady himself. "Just because," the protagonist mutters, hugging him tighter, burying his head into his chest. A single tear falls. "I won't lose my grandfather ever again. He's the only reason I'm still alive." "Ho, ho, what's come over you?" the grandfather chuckles. The two sit in the sun, surrounded by forest and warmth, cutting greens peacefully together. But in the distance, lurking in the shadows, a chilling laugh echoes. Fu, fu, fu. The evil spirit looms in black fog, growing larger behind them. That's right, that's it hisses as dark tentacles slither across the scene. The cherished past, the lost love, the precious memories. The spirit's crimson eyes glow with sinister glee as its black form twists and expands. Endless happiness, it whispers. Then, Grandfather, I've always wondered... what is it? Why, did you name me after the character for Righteous? The grandfather smiles, but before he can answer, the evil spirit's tentacles reach toward them. Stay with your grandfather forever, so you'll never lose. The spirit's gaping maw opens wide, its glowing eyes shifting from red to magenta purple, closing in on its prey. But just as it prepares to consume him, our protagonist's eyes slide sideways. They lock with the spirit's, and in that instant, the spirit freezes. What? Before it can retreat, our protagonist lunges, grabbing the spirit's face with both hands. I ended up remembering something unpleasant, thanks to you, he growls. The spirit writhes, panicked, trying to escape his grip, but it's too late. Impossible. How can he see me? It mutters. It's really annoying, playing pretend with my dead grandfather. And you, our protagonist glares, eyes glowing, seem to have misunderstood something. His frown deepens. His fingers tighten around the spirit's face. If you wanted to tempt me with happiness or revenge, you should have done it right. The spirit shakes, rattled. Instead of bringing my grandfather back, you should have let me rip apart the bastard who killed him. He grits his teeth, his face darkening into a menacing smile. You don't know a damn thing about me. The evil spirit quivers in his grasp. It's seeping in. A dangerous primal desire. A killing intent so pure, even the spirits of the dead would flee. Suddenly, hundreds of ghostly skulls emerge from the void, their mouths wide open, screaming silently. The scene shifts, consumed by darkness and death. Gripping the evil spirit's face even harder, the spirit still trembles in disbelief. How is this possible? It mutters. Our protagonist doesn't flinch, his menacing glare locked in, hands latched onto the spirit's skull like a vice. This kind of force, it's not something a living being should possess, the spirit thinks, panic creeping in. But something's restraining it. What is this weight holding it back? Unaware of what's happening behind him, the grandfather continues, answering the question asked moments ago. Jeong, you asked why I gave you a name that means righteous. You're a child different from others. But I wished for you to grow up kind and righteous. The grandfather rises to his feet, turning slightly toward his grandson, his body now starting to disintegrate. That's why I chose that name for you. Like its meaning, I wanted you to grow as someone who never deviates from the path. As the grandfather's face begins to wither away into the wind, he offers one final prayer. So I pray, you'll live on as a righteous man. In that exact moment, our protagonist's rage explodes. He shatters the mask of the evil spirit. Black smoke bursts into the air. The spirit breaks free, swatting away our protagonist's arm in desperation. I have to escape, the spirit panics. This guy's insane. I need to dive deeper into his consciousness. The spirit flees, sprinting into the depths of Jeong's mindscape. Moments later, it lands on a peaceful field of flowers, skies above a perfect blue. Confused, it looks around. This place, what is it? It notices a large red door, ornate with golden handles and a sacred seal. A door? And it's sealed. These must be his hidden memories. I don't care. I'll just tear this open and take full control. As the spirit reaches for the golden handle, its vision suddenly distorts. Black smoke leaks from its own body. What's happening? The red door fades into mist, and in its place, a shadowy figure emerges. The figure lunges forward, wrapping around the spirit like a serpent. No, He's reversely taking over me, the spirit screams. Black smoke begins forcing its way into the spirit's mouth, choking it. It tries to claw itself free, but it's too late. If this keeps going, I'll be devoured. The smoke completely envelops the spirit. We zoom out, revealing the protagonist's mouth wide open, swallowing the spirit whole. Gulp. In the real world, back in the Manor Master's chamber, our protagonist's eyes snap open. A wave of purple energy explodes from his body. The shaman, facing away, pauses. Feeling the shift in the air, he slowly turns and freezes. Impossible. Our protagonist rips the talisman from his forehead and places one hand on the ground. Black smoke seeps out, the same one that devoured the spirit. He rises, and behind him, the smoke begins to form into a shape. The shaman watches in horror as the mass grows, taller, darker, heavier. Our protagonist, now standing upright, casts a calm side glance at the towering shadow behind him and mutters, "Demonic monk." The smoke solidifies, revealing a massive monk-like figure draped in black, skulls hanging around his neck, and glowing orange eyes piercing through the dark. A terrifying manifestation of power. With chaos unfolding inside, we are transported outside the Manor Master's residence, where a lone man sits silently on the stone steps. The night sky looms heavy and dark above the estate, faint light escaping through the cracks of the doors behind him. A bead of sweat rolls down his brow. "Is this really okay?" he mutters to himself. This man is Jeong, the inner Manor Master of Mok Sword Manor. As he sits in silence, his thoughts drift to the past. A vivid memory of the Manor Master, Mok Inden, flashes before his eyes. The young Manor Master was a true hero, he recalls. I looked up to him. I believed he could do no wrong. We see Mok Inden wind-whipping through his hair, unsheathing his sword with fierce resolve, his presence commanding. Our bond began 19 years ago during the subjugation of the pirates. Back then, Jeong was a celebrated martial artist. We see the two men back to back, surrounded by bloodthirsty pirates, swords drawn, the air thick with tension. We fought side by side to crush the pirate threat. From that day forward, I pledged my loyalty to him and became the inner Manor Master. The scene returns to the present. Jeong looks up at the towering manor building. But how did it end up like this? Another memory invades, this time a recent one. Inner Manor Master, do you really believe that lowly child is suitable to become the next lord of Mok Sword Manor? It's Lady Sok, the first wife, her voice cold and decisive. For the future of the manor, you must leave the premises until the shaman completes the ritual to locate the seal and secret manual. We see them on a stone bridge bathed in sunset. Back on the steps, Jeong clenches his fists beneath his chin. For the peace of Mok Sword Manor? I agreed, but it's eating at me. That shaman's a fraud. I just know it. They're probably drugging the manor lord, manipulating him with potions disguised as mysticism. He rises to his feet, eyes burning with conviction. His sword rests beside him. Damn it! I can't just sit here and let this happen. This goes against the loyalty I swore to the Manor Master. With resolve, Jeong walks toward the manor doors. I'll just take a quick look and then come back. Back inside the Manor Master's room, the tension escalates. We see the shaman, sweat pouring down his face, his eyes wide in raw fear. This isn't a regular vengeful spirit, he mutters. It's a high-class evil spirit. Before him stands Jeong, and behind Jeong, towering, monstrous, and cloaked in malevolent energy, is the demonic monk. Demonic monk, Jeong says coldly, stretching out his arm toward the shaman. Go kill that man. With a hellish growl, the demonic monk lunges, red eyes blazing. The shaman reels back, panic overtaking him. Confront, he shouts, flashing a hand sign just in time to conjure a golden defense array. A blast of golden light pulses outward, barely blocking the monk's massive punch. Did he just order the evil spirit, the shaman thinks in horror, watching the demonic monk clawing toward him, relentless. That's not possible. It's a vengeful spirit, pure evil. It shouldn't be following orders. The array holds for a moment. The demonic monk grins widely, its hand cracking through the light barrier. With a burst of force, the array shatters, sending the shaman tumbling across the room. Scrambling to his feet, breath ragged, the shaman's eyes dart. The monk steps forward, lips peeled back in a terrifying grin, his glowing yellow-orange eyes locked on the target. "No, stay back," the shaman yells, racing toward a weapon rack, pulling a blade with shaking hands. "Don't come any closer, no, stop!" But the demonic monk opens his gaping, inhuman mouth. From it spills a swarm of skeletal hands, hundreds of them, reaching out like a tide of death. In sheer terror, the shaman stumbles, raising his sword to no effect. The hands latch onto him, gripping, pulling, clawing. "Please, spare me. I'll do anything." But before he can finish, the hands drag him toward the monk. Jeong watches with arms crossed, calm and detached. "If this is because I tricked you," the shaman screams. "No," Jeong replies, a smile creeping onto his lips. He squats beside the shaman, who's now half consumed by the spectral limbs. "It's because you learned about the seal in the secret manual." The shaman's eyes widen. "This bastard. From the start, he planned this." His fingernails scrape the stone floor, leaving bloody trails as he's dragged fully into the demonic monk's abyss. Tears stream from his face, his final moment one of horror and betrayal. We cut to the hallway. Jeong leans out the door casually and calls, "Come in." Go-chan, clutching his broken arm, hesitantly rounds the corner. His eyes immediately fall on the shaman's mangled corpse, blood seeping from his eyes, ears, and mouth. Is he dead?" Chan stammers. "You can ask questions later," Jeong replies. "Can you carry the corpse?" "What?" Jeong picks up the sword the shaman had just used. "I'll do this." With that, he starts slashing the room apart, vases, decorations, wall panels, even the edge of the bed. He makes it look like a wild struggle took place. The shaman went mad, started attacking. He even went as far as to cut the manor lord's arm, but we stopped him in time. Chan blinks in disbelief. "You're planning to hide the truth?" "Yes," Jeong answers, unfazed. "Is that a problem?" Chan hesitates. It makes sense. But will they buy it so easily? The mistress of the manor won't be fooled so easily. She's sharp. She'll question everything. He lifts the shaman's body, carefully placing it on the bed beside the unconscious manor lord. "Young master," Chan warns, "a half-hearted cover-up will only draw more suspicion." Jeong glances back, sword in hand. "Was it that obvious?" We pull back to a wide shot of the devastated room, sliced walls, shattered vases, and blood pooling at the center of it all. Even if the shaman had gone mad and we did manage to subdue him, the manor mistress who hired him won't just accept that, says Chan, his gaze heavy as it falls on Jeong. "I see," Jeong replies, raising a finger to his lips thoughtfully. "Then, I suppose I should make it a little more believable." With no warning, he raises the sword and plunges it deep into his own leg. "He cut the manor lord's arm," Jeong growls, blood pouring from his wound, "and tried to kill his son." Chan stumbles backward, wide-eyed. "What?" The sword clatters to the ground, and Jeong grins, bloodied hand lifted. "How's that?" he says. "More convincing?" Chan stands frozen, stunned. He stabbed himself, just to sell the lie. Even if it's a cover-up, this level of self-sacrifice, this insane commitment, it's terrifying. "No, I'll stop the bleeding," Chan says, rushing forward. "Leave it," Jeong mutters, still seated, blood trailing down his leg. "I'll look more convincing if I'm pale." Scary doesn't even begin to cover it, Chan thinks. This monster, I can never make him my enemy. Suddenly, a figure steps into the room. Chan's face freezes in horror. Inner manor lord," he blurts, recognizing the man now standing at the entrance. It's Yang Myongin, the inner lord of Mok Sword Manor. His eyes lock onto the chaos. Shattered objects, blood on the ground, and the shaman's mangled corpse kneeling before the unconscious manor lord. "You bastards," he growls. "Just what have you done?" "Inner manor lord, it's a misunderstanding," Chan pleads, sweat pouring from his brow. Jeong tries to speak. "Inner manor lord, before anything you should check the manor lord's condition." But his body gives in and he collapses to the floor with a thud. The inner manor lord turns, stunned. "What? What happened here? Why is the third young master even here?" Chan opens his mouth, but no words come out. His eyes fall on Jeong. still smirking faintly even in his pain. This bastard, was he behind this the whole time? Chan thinks. He's been acting this entire time. We transition to the Medicinal Hall of Mok Sword Manor, lit against the cool night sky. Inside, lined with herbs and bowls, Jeong lies in bed. His leg is wrapped in a fresh bandage, stained red beneath the clean white cloth. The smell of medicine. Weirdly calming, Jeong says aloud, hands behind his head staring at the ceiling. In the basement, behind the stone doors, he remembers. I ended up in the place the Manor Lord mentioned. Guess I got lucky. The secret manual, the seal. I'll take a look tonight. Too many eyes during the day. The door creaks open. Chan enters, his arm now wrapped and hanging in a sling. Young master, I'm here, he says, bowing slightly. Jeong turns to him, unimpressed. You're late. Chan pulls out 2 books from inside his robe. These were in the shaman's possession. You asked for them. Jeong accepts them, flipping through their covers. Just these? I barely managed to salvage those before the others were burned. Burned? Jeong asks, eyes narrowing. I saw them burning all the shaman's belongings. They're likely trying to destroy the evidence, Chan explains, recalling the earlier scene of him sneaking out with the books. Jeong frowns, flipping through the texts. Disappointing. Master Chu's summary, original book of the Yin-Yang school, and first tome of Anomaly. These are all that's left, he thinks. You did well, Jeong says finally, opening one of the books. But then he pauses, his gaze flicking to Chan's face. What is it? He asks, his tone sharp. Nothing, Chan stammers. I was just wondering what you're reading those for. Jeong doesn't answer immediately. Instead, he points out the open window. What do you see outside? He asks. Huh? Chan follows his finger. Outside. Nothing. From Chan's perspective, the night is still and quiet, but outside the window, floating in the darkness, is the demonic monk. Jeong watches it for a moment, then mutters under his breath, That's why I want to figure it out. Huh? Chan asks, confused. What does that... But Jeong simply keeps reading, flipping through the old pages in silence as the demonic entity hovers quietly outside. Just as Jeong continues to read and Chan stands silently beside him, a voice pierces the quiet from outside. You can't! The 2 inside the room snap their heads toward the door, eyes narrowing. Outside, 2 shadows appear, silhouetted against the corridor's dim light. Madam, the young master is still recovering, one voice pleads. Move. A cold command cuts through the air. The door swings open and stepping into the room is none other than the First Lady, her piercing eyes full of disdain. 2 guards follow close behind her, standing like shadows at her flanks. Her gaze immediately drops to Jeong, resting on the bed, bandaged but composed. She scans the room with an icy chill in her eyes, then back at him. Let's have a chat, she says flatly, voice laced with venom. Jeong doesn't flinch. He simply looks up at her, the corner of his mouth curling. Not in warmth, but with complete indifference. Let's have a chat, says the First Lady coldly again as she steps into the room, her 2 guards flanking her. Guard Chan and Jeong, our protagonists, look up. Chan bows deeply. I greet the First Lady, Chan says respectfully, hands clasped. Jeong, still seated on the bed with his bandaged leg elevated, studies her carefully. So she's the first wife from the Marshal Seok clan. Lady Seok. He remembers Guard Com's warning. She's the most dangerous of them all, more than even the first son. Clever, cold, deadly. Clenching his fist, Jeong bows his head. I greet the First Madam. Forgive me, I cannot stand due to my leg. Lady Seok doesn't respond. She eyes him with disinterest. Chan exhales in relief. Not bad. He's handling this better than I expected, as long as he can keep up. I'm not here to hear your greetings, she cuts in sharply. That catches Jeong off guard. My apologies. Bam! Her fist slams directly into Jeong's injured leg. Ah! Jeong cries out, blood spurting from the wound as Chan stumbles forward, horrified. What? Chan exclaims, but the moment he moves, one of Lady Seok's guards draws her sword, holding it inches from his throat. Don't move. Her tone is venomous. Chan freezes, sweat rolling down his face. The First Lady leans in toward Jeong, still writhing in pain on the bed. So you really are hurt. Must be difficult, she says mockingly. Stabbing yourself just to sell a lie? Bold. She steps even closer, the fan covering her smirk. You gave quite the convincing story to the inner manor master, but you made one mistake. A real shaman wouldn't be possessed mid-ritual. Her voice drops. For him to have lost control? Ha! She throws her head back and laughs. Smack. Without warning, she slaps Jeong across the face, so hard that it sends him flying from the bed into the wall beside the open window. You dare make a fool of me with such a pathetic lie? She roars. Young master, Chan yells, unable to move. Jeong slumps against the wall, blood trickling from his lip, his injured leg now gushing. The room goes still, until a low chuckle breaks the silence. Jeong laughs, quietly at first and then louder. He's lost it, Lady Seok mutters. But Jeong isn't laughing in madness. He looks up, grinning, his teeth stained with blood. And then in the corner of the room, the demonic monk appears. Towering, silent, eyes glowing red, the scars across his neck pulsing with energy. Jeong raises a trembling hand and points toward the First Lady's entourage. Whoosh! The monk vanishes, and in the blink of an eye, reappears behind the First Lady. A chill runs through her as she spins side to side, confused. What just passed by me? She gasps, voice unsteady. Before she can get an answer, one of her guards is lifted into the air, choking, grasping at invisible hands. Terror fills the room. Lady Seok's eyes widen, sweat now pouring down her brow. She recognizes this sensation, the same dreadful energy that mangled the shaman. She turns back to her guard, now convulsing midair. Suddenly, Jeong appears behind her, his voice low near her ear. The secret manual and the seal, isn't that what you came for? She freezes, eyes wide, heart pounding. And for the first time, truly afraid, the room descends into chaos. One of the guards is lifted off the ground, strangled midair by the invisible demonic monk, yet no one else can see it. Soa! Soa! The remaining guard next to Chan shouts, trying to save the other guard. Lady Seok turns slowly toward Jeong, her eyes wide with fear, paralyzed by the weight of something she doesn't understand. Jeong steps forward, injured leg dragging. You should have negotiated, he says coldly, not threatened me. Lady Seok grits her teeth. You, believe me or don't, but I have no desire to become the manor master, Jeong adds. He limps closer, his voice sharpening. Your son isn't the only one who wants the position. Since you've chosen to threaten me, he pauses, his voice dropping into something darker. I guess I'll go see my second brother. Lady Seok's expression twists into horror. The youngest has great martial talent, right? Jeong adds, twisting the knife. And since we never got along, I think giving him the secret manual would be a great way to make peace. Her entire body trembles as her teeth clench tighter, her pride cracking under pressure. You understand now, don't you? Jeong says, standing tall. You're not the one in control. He turns and walks away, dragging his bloodied leg past her. Lady Seok collapses to her knees behind him, seething with rage, fists clenched, jaw locked. Outside, the moon glows cold and distant over the manor grounds. A chill settles in. Jeong looks out the door. It's a cold night, he says. Take care. He exits, leaving Lady Seok kneeling in front of the bed, shaking with silent fury. Scene shift, Blessing Flower Hall, Lady Seok's residence. Furniture crashes and shatters. How dare he! How dare he! Lady Seok screams, tossing a chair across the room. Her guards stand motionless, unsure how to calm her fury. Please, madam, you must calm down. Calm down? She turns on her guard. Do I look calm to you? She storms forward. That idiot, that fool stole the fruits of my labor. Hand on her face, she mutters bitterly. Damn it, I let my guard down because I thought he was stupid. I thought I just had to scare him a little and he'd spill everything. She stops. A chill runs through her. He's too different now, like a completely different person. She walks to a beautiful box, blue and white with golden trim. Her fingers hover above it. Could it be, she wonders? Was he pretending this whole time? She recalls a younger Jeong quietly studying martial texts. After his mother died, their side of the family lost all power. Maybe he changed, just to survive. Her eyes narrow. I should never have let my guard down. Shall I kill him before he moves further? One guard offers, voice sharp. No, Lady Siak replies. If he passes the secret manual to someone else, it'll only get worse. A pause. Then, we'll strike differently. Her voice turns cold and calculating. Notify the Phoenix Pavilion. Tell them Shaman Mio Shin is dead. The guards freeze. The Phoenix Pavilion? One gasps. We cut to an ominous mountain range, jagged cliffs, lightning-ridden skies. The towering Phoenix Pavilion looms above all. Lady Siak stares out the window, rage and resolve burning in her eyes. Mok Young-woon, things won't go your way so easily. Later that night, midnight at the Medicinal Hall. Only one small light flickers in the darkness. Inside, Jeong sits alone on the wooden floor beside boxes of herbs and scrolls. A lantern glows dimly at his side. He reads aloud from an ancient tome. Master Chu's summary of the original book of the Yin-Yang school. A dead person turns into an evil spirit due to unresolved resentment. He turns the page. Its strength depends on many conditions. There are 5 types. His eyes skim the pages. First, the red spirit, bound to a location, harmless, causes chills. Second, orange spirit, possesses human bodies, causes fatigue and illness. Third, yellow spirit, dangerous, must be exorcised. He pauses. Yellow spirits can kill. Suddenly, a presence flickers into view. The demonic monk appears from behind the medicine shelves, drifting like smoke. Jeong looks over, unfazed. Did you find it? He asks calmly. The monk hovers in silence. Jeong studies him for a moment. So you're a yellow spirit. A slight grin crosses his lips. Figures. From the shadows where the demonic monk emerged, Jeong reaches out and lifts his lamp forward, illuminating the corner of the room. Withered leaves, he mutters. They've hidden the entrance using an herb rarely used in medicine. The faint outlines of a concealed door shimmer into view under the glow. Jeong narrows his eyes. That spirit's been useful. He can uncover hidden passages and scout underground routes. But his expression hardens as he thinks back. Too bad he couldn't affect Lady Siak. Had to go for her maid instead, he says, recalling the earlier scene of the demonic monk choking her guard into submission. Another memory flickers. Guard Chang gasping on the floor as the monk gripped him. Jeong lets out a short breath. Worked well on Guard Chan, though. He walks over to one of the drawers embedded into the medicinal cabinet. With a click, he slides it open, and a rumble echoes in the room. A hidden door creaks open beside him. A gust of cold air escapes from the shadows beyond. Jeong glances toward the darkness. If Lady Siak's a first-rate martial artist, his expression turns serious. Then Guard Khan must be just as strong, so my current spirit won't work on him either. He tightens his grip on the book and steps forward into the newly revealed passage. That means it's time to find a stronger one. He flips the book open again as he walks, lantern light casting flickering shadows on the corridor walls. His eyes lock onto a new entry. Green Spirit. An evil spirit that has existed for decades, possesses the ability to distort its environment and create hallucinations. Very dangerous. Must be exorcised. A grin forms on Jeong's face. Well, all right, he says, snapping the book closed. Standing at the edge of a stairway descending into pitch black, he raises his lamp high, one hand gripping the tome, the other glowing with determination. Let's go. And find the secret manual and the seal. With that, he steps into the depths, where secrets, spirits, and something far darker await. We open on Jeong descending a dimly lit staircase, holding a small lamp out in front of him. It's deep, he mutters as the steps seem to vanish into endless darkness. He dug this far just to hide a secret manual and a seal, Jeong wonders. Well, I guess it must be valuable. No wonder everyone's after it. I don't lose anything by having it either. He continues his descent, shadows dancing on the stone walls. Now that I know the demonic monk's powers won't work on Guardcom, I need more cards to play against him. At the base of the stairwell, Jeong finds a sealed wooden gate. Is it here? He murmurs, pushing it open. Beyond the gate, he enters a massive underground cavern. The air is cool and still. 4 large stone doors loom ahead. Beneath the Medicinal Hall. Behind the 4 doors. He recalls the words that led him here. His eyes settle on the fourth door to the right. That one. He walks deeper into the dark, shining his lamp ahead. Is it really necessary to go this far? Suddenly, his foot presses down on a loose stone. Click. A trap springs. Massive boulder chained to the ceiling plummets toward him. Jeong leaps back just in time as it crashes to the ground, sending shards of stone and dust flying. I didn't expect there to be traps, he says, covering his face. Before he can regain composure, glittering lights streak through the air. Arrows. Jeong sidesteps, narrowly avoiding the first three. More come. He swats them away with his lamp, one slamming straight into the center of it, cracking the glass. That was close. A sudden whoosh! The ground shakes as a log, swinging on chains, barrels toward him. The real deal begins now, he thinks. As the log speeds toward him, Jeong sprints straight at it, jumps and runs along its length. The log smashes into the cavern wall behind him, debris exploding outward. Jeong lands safely on the other side. Is there something even more valuable in here? He keeps moving forward through the gauntlet. Bladed traps, spiked chains, and swinging iron rods come at him in waves. He dodges, weaves, sidesteps, graceful, focused. I guess I'll find out soon enough, he mutters, brushing dust from his shirt after another narrow escape. Phew. Before him, the path opens into a vast wooden chamber. Oh, now I'm here, he says. The room is surprisingly refined for something so deep underground. Wooden pillars, symmetrical beams, and red tapestries give it a strangely regal air. In the distance, he spots 3 books, a plate, and a wine jar sitting on an altar. It looks lived in. Did someone train here? Jeong approaches the altar and finds a small wooden box. He opens it, revealing 2 books laid carefully on red cloth. Found it, he exclaims. Adamant Resolve. Wood Hard Sword Transformation. Technique, he reads aloud. He recalls what Guard Chan said. The secret manual was divided into 2, one for sword technique and one for cultivation. I'll take both, Jeong says, slipping the manuals into his coat. As he turns to leave, something catches his eye. He glances toward the far corner of the room. But is that it? He mutters. It feels strange that these 2 manuals are all that's hidden in a place this massive. Curious, he approaches a massive wooden chest tucked away in the shadows. What's that? He whispers, raising his lamp. It looks unnecessarily heavy and not functional, Jeong mutters, eyeing the large wooden box tucked away in the corner of the underground chamber. He squints. There are drag marks, too. Approaching the box, he starts to push it aside, dust and wood groaning beneath its weight. Maybe it was placed here to hide something. As he moves the box away, something catches his eye on the ground beneath it, a square-shaped patch covered in 4 talismans. I knew it, he says, a note of excitement in his voice. There's something on the floor. He crouches, carefully peeling off the talismans one by one. Beneath them, a hidden wooden chest reveals itself. A second chest, he mutters, lifting it slowly. It's sealed with more charms. This energy... He pauses. The aura radiating from the box is thick, unnatural. It hums with something ominous. Something he wanted to hide even more than the secret manual. As Jeong continues peeling the charms away, his lantern begins to flicker. What? Why is the light... Just as the last charm comes off, he lifts the lid of the chest and freezes. Inside lies a book bound in weathered leather. But this is no ordinary leather. The scent is sharp. The surface has a grotesque texture. His eyes widen. It's human skin. Lined in red beads, the book rests inside the chest like a forbidden relic. Jeong's face shifts, not to fear, but to a grin. Slowly, his lips curl into a smirk as he gazes down at the unholy book. Meanwhile, in a different part of the manor, the thunder of drums fills the air. Laughter erupts, feet stomp, and hands clap rhythmically to the beat. Inside a lavish tavern hall, people are dancing with joy, circling a man moving wildly in the center. Harder! Play the drums with more joy, someone shouts. That's it! That's more like it, another cheers. At the heart of the celebration is a man with a wine cup in hand, spinning with delight. His face is flushed with intoxicated glee. This is the second young master of Mok Sword Manor, Mok Sword. He raises his cup, grinning ear to ear as he gazes out the window. Ah, what a beautiful day. The manor looks brighter than usual. He takes another sip and laughs. It must be because I'm one step closer to becoming the next manor master. He turns his head. And it's all thanks to you for coming to my side. Behind him, in shadow, stands a tall figure. Slowly stepping forward into the light, Guard Kam appears. Yoon opens his arms wide in welcome. Guard Kam bows low, one fist pressed into his palm. I greet the second master, he says. Under the serene night sky, lights flicker across the various buildings of Mok Sword Manor. The air is calm, yet beneath the surface, schemes are already brewing. Sorry for making you wait this late, says the second young master, Mok Yoon, as he raises a wine cup toward Guard Kam. I wanted to prepare a grander welcome feast, but Father's condition hasn't improved. I'm already honored by the treatment, young master, Guard Kam replies, his head slightly bowed. Yoon lets out a hearty laugh. Ha ha ha, come, let's head inside, he says, gesturing toward the banquet room. Yes, young master, Kam responds. Elsewhere in the manor, the final beats of celebratory drums echo as the musicians pack up, leaving the host and his guests to talk privately. So, that bastard Mok Gyeong-woon lost all his martial arts ability? The second young master asks with a mischievous smirk, tapping his chin as he casts a glance at Kam. Guard Kam remains expressionless on the outside, but inside his thoughts are sharp and guarded. Yes, the real one is dead, and the fake hasn't even learned martial arts. Not a lie, but I'm not about to reveal the truth. If word gets out that I failed to protect the young master, I'm finished. He must have made me that offer knowing all this. Kam puts on a calm smile. That's right, he says aloud, but in his mind, things won't go your way either. Powerless and now even lacking martial arts. That's no way to win a succession war, Yoon says with a scoff, before chuckling smugly. The crowd around him laughs in unison, echoing the confidence in the room. Still, Yoon adds, I should be grateful. To have someone as talented as you on my side now. He grins at Kam as they move toward a table adorned with 2 wine bottles and chairs. As they sit, the second young master's tone shifts slightly. I've been wondering, can't you at least tell me how he lost his martial arts? I'll forgive you even if it was your fault. Everyone makes mistakes. He laughs again playfully. Kam remains standing, hands behind his back. He bows formally. I'm sorry, but I cannot speak on that. Not yet, he replies. If I tell him, I'll just end up cleaning up his mess later anyway, he thinks to himself. But it won't harm you to remain in the dark either. Yoon looks at him with raised brows, then shrugs. Alright, I'll trust you. After all, it's you, he says, lowering his voice. The former assassin from the infamous palace. Kam's body stiffens. His eyes widen slightly. How does he know that? This bastard, Kam thinks, frozen. What's wrong? Yoon asks, feigning innocence. Kam remains silent, mentally cursing himself. I knew he was clever, but I still treated him like a child. Oh? Yoon tilts his head, mockingly. Was that supposed to be a secret? Kam gulps. No, young master, he mutters, sweat beginning to bead on his brow. Damn it, I let my guard down. Yoon, amused by the reaction, waves his hand. Alright, you're excused for now. I'll call for you again. As Kam quietly exits, Yoon steps up to the window, watching him leave. He's hiding something, and the third must be up to something too, he mutters to the 2 men behind him. He turns to one of them. Cho Il-sung, go find out what he's hiding. If Mok Gyeong-woon really has lost his martial arts, you're the perfect man to test it. You're close to early peak, right? Cho Il-sung steps forward, his half-shaven mohawk making him look every bit the battle-hardened warrior. Do I just need to check, he asks, cracking his knuckles. Yoon eyes narrow. Number, that's no fun. Break an ankle or something while you're at it. Cho bows deeply, fist to palm. Yes, sir. Still deep underground, we pick up with Jeong, our protagonist, clutching the strange book bound in flesh, encircled by crimson prayer beads. He runs his fingers over the texture, eyes narrowing. These beads, I wasn't imagining it, Jeong mutters, but the feeling beneath my fingers, it's too close to death. A drop of sweat slides down his face. In his mind's eye, we see flesh being stripped from bone, a decaying skeleton forming in the shadows of his thoughts. Why would something like this be down here? He asks, staring at the grotesque tome. He tightens his grip. I want to untie the rosary and check its contents right now, he says, eyes locked on the cursed book. Just then, dark energy pulses behind him. Jeong spins around. What is it? From the shadowy swirl, the demonic monk materializes, his eyes burning red. Without a word, the towering spirit brings his fist to his palm and bows low before Jeong. Jeong freezes, glancing between the book and the kneeling spirit. You're kneeling? For this book? He mutters. The demonic monk stays bowed, sweat forming at his temples. Jeong smirks. This book, it must be incredible. Still, he gently places the book back into its sealed box. If the demonic monk is acting like this, then someone else must be nearby. He looks up toward the ceiling. That mean an intruder? We pull back, further and further, zooming past the maze of traps Jeong had just overcome, past the cavern, past the stairwell, until we're above the manor once again. On the rooftop, a cloaked figure leaps across the tiles. It's Cho Il-sang, the man sent by the second young master. Landing atop a tree across from the Medicinal Hall, he crouches looking down at the courtyard below where Guard Chan strolls lazily, yawning. So Guard Chan's outside, standing guard, while the injured master sleeps? Cho smirks. He's hiding something. Cho leaps from the tree and lands silently near the open window. He peers inside, eyes narrowing. Inside, Jeong lies in bed, apparently sleeping peacefully. Cho climbs in. Just sleeping? Then why all the caution, he wonders, moving silently across the room. Something on the table catches his attention. I need to check for inner energy first, he says, narrowing his gaze. Then his eyes land on the book. His expression shifts instantly. This is... He grabs it. Internally he grins, flicking through the pages. This is the real thing. How does he have this? No, doesn't matter. This alone gives us the upper hand in the succession. Victory is ours. Suddenly, smash! A hand grabs his head and slams it down onto the table, teapots and cups flying in every direction. Bam! Jeong stands behind him, expression stone cold. What business do you have in my bedroom? Were you feeling sleepy? He says calmly. Blood runs from Cho's nose. Was he pretending to be asleep? He thinks in horror. Well, I can help you sleep. I'm a kind man after all, Jeong adds, before slamming Cho's head again and again into the table. Bam, bam, bam! Blood splashes everywhere. He's insane, Cho mutters before falling into unconsciousness. An unknown time later. Cho's eyes slowly flutter open. His vision is upside down. Oh, you're awake, Jeong's voice rings out cheerfully. We zoom out. Cho is hanging upside down, blood crusting beneath his nose. Jeong kneels before him, slowly drawing a knife. He slams it into the ground in front of Cho, sending a fresh wave of terror through him. Jeong rolls up his sleeve, smiling with a glint in his eye. Now then, he says, let's talk. The game has changed. From sealing demonic spirits and facing off against deadly conspiracies, to flipping the power dynamic with a single glare. Jeong is no longer the pawn in this story. He's becoming the threat. Hidden manuals have been uncovered, enemies are being devoured, and the third son bleeds with purpose. But with the first lady plotting in silence, and the second son making his move, what happens when the hunter becomes the hunted? Find out in the next episode. But before you go, don't forget to tap like if you enjoyed the episode, subscribe for more epic recaps, turn on notifications so you never miss a chapter. And with that being said, Manhwa Champions, we're going to bring this video to an end. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I will catch you all later. Peace.